Hey guys, it's Lainey and today I'm doing my January reading wrap-up. I read a total of 10 books. 10 this month. Started off the year with a bang, I suppose. Let's get started for the books I read this month. The first book I read this month was Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. This is the first book in the Women of the Otherworld series. This is an urban fantasy series. Super long series. I rated this one a 4. Now that I'm thinking about it, as I'm sitting here, maybe it's like a 3.5. I really did like it. There were some problematic scenes where I was like, girl, when I was reading them. But overall, I mean, I really liked it. I wish the mythology of the werewolves, because that's what this book's about, was just a little bit better. I didn't really feel like the myth and the lore of the werewolves was really all that explained or explained well. I didn't really like the pack system either in this book. I am continuing on with this series. The next book I read was Lyonshare by Rachel Vincent. This is the first book in her spin-off series of the Shifter series. Kind of follows characters that we were introduced to in the Shifter series. I rated this one a 5 because I love this world. I love these characters. I loved seeing these characters come back. I mean, I love this world in this series. I don't really want to say who's in this series or kind of even what it's about because it's really spoilery if you haven't finished or read the Shifter series and you plan to. So if you do plan, don't read the synopsis for this book or else you're going to ruin the entire series of the Shifter series. The next book I read was an ebook prequel, book 1, and it was The Warlord Wants Forever by Cressley Cole. This is the first book in her Immortals After Dark series. I actually buddy read this book with Riley from Riley Marie, and we both rated it like a 3-star. I don't think it gave me much insight into the actual world, though I found it interesting. I also really liked the female main character in this prequel. The reason why we read this was because it was recommended that you read this book first before you get into the actual real books of the series. That's why it's in ebook form and not in print. There was like a lot of sex in this book. Disclaimer, if you're not comfortable with that, do not read this book. I think there was, for the length of the novel, there was almost too much sex in this book. I think it could have done with a little bit less. Yes, but I am continuing to read the series. I think Riley and I are going to buddy read it over the next couple months. As you guys know, one of my favorite series is the In the Company of Killers series by J.A. Rimmersky. Recently I've been trying to find more books like that, but I'm very, very picky when it comes to it. Especially when you get into organized crime, since I know so much about it. I find all the faults in the story, and that's what I found in the next 2 books that I read. Bound by Honor and Bound by Hatred by Cora Riley. There's 4 books in the series. Each book can be read as a standalone. So I read the first and the 3rd book this month, and I don't plan on reading any of the other ones. It follows the Italian mafia in New York City, and I really did not like the first book because the entire plot was just trying to take this girl's virginity, and I hate when plots are like that. Like, you need to give me something else besides that, because then what happens after you guys have sex? You just have more sex. Also, I found that the way that she was describing the Italian mafia was not fully correct, and I found a lot of faults in it, and I didn't really like it, and I didn't like how it was portrayed because I found a lot of inaccuracies. I decided to read the 3rd book because one of the sisters from the first book was going to be the star of the 3rd book, and I really liked her because she was really feisty and stuff. And while I liked the 3rd book significantly more than the first book, I honestly could not see myself rating it higher than a 2. So while the 3rd one is a lot better, it's not much better. That was a little bit of a disappointment. Both of those books I rated a 2. I think they could have been a lot stronger. They could have brought the crime in a lot more. The first book was only told in the girl's point of view, and the girl isn't part of the mafia, so we're getting all this secondhand information from the guy, and then that's like what I want. I want to see the stabbings and the explosions and the car chases and all of that, and I didn't get any of it. All I got was a really boring love story. Then I decided to finally finish the 5th book in the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. I've been reading this book for literally a year. That's the kind of thing with the Vampire Academy series. As much as I love it and I love the world and I love the characters, I have had a hard time getting not even getting through them because I really enjoy them. It's just like I'll stop reading them to read something else, and then it kind of just gets farther and farther away, and the next thing I know, it's a year and I'm still halfway through the 5th book. So I decided to finish the 5th book finally, and that one I rated a 4 out of 5 just because it was a year since I've read it, and even though I remember details, there were some details I was forgetting. And then the next book I read was Last Sacrifice, which is the 6th and final book in the Vampire Academy series. That one I rated a 4.5, but I rounded it up to 5 for the overall enjoyment level that I had while reading it. I'm so glad I finished the Vampire Academy series. It's like one of my favorite underrated series. The name is ridiculous, and I can attest to that, but what's inside these books are just so special, and I love the characters. Just seeing them grow from the first book to the final book, I love books like that. That's why I love longer series, because I love seeing the character development through the 1st through the 6th book. A lot of you guys have been asking me if I'm going to be reading Bloodlines, which is the spin-off. Yes, maybe. I plan on reading it eventually, but I don't have it very high on my TBR right now. I think I need to relax a little bit after I read the Vampire Academy series before I can jump into Bloodlines. As you guys might know, Riley and we are co-hosting a read-along for the next couple months for the In the Company of Killers series. In January, we had to reread the 1st and 2nd book, which is what I did. I reread Killing Sarai and Reviving Isabel. I have since tabbed all the things. I'm so glad I'm rereading this series because I'm picking up things that were kind of sprinkled that I wouldn't have noticed after I read the most recent book. The read-along is still going on. I'm going to link it down below, our Goodreads group, and everybody that seems to be reading these are really, really enjoying them. So we're not just saying this, we have our receipts to back them up. I stuck with my ratings of when I first read it. I rated this one a 5 when I first read it, and I rated this one a 4 when I first read it, and I stuck by both those ratings after I reread them. The last book I read this month was another Rochelle Mead book. I decided to read her urban fantasy series, the Georgina Kincaid series, which is Succubus Blues. This one rated a 2, and I'm really sad that I'm saying that. I just didn't find the first book very exciting, so I was very bored while I was reading it. And I just don't know why everybody's so obsessed with the main character. And I know she's a succubus, I know, but that just felt like it was more of an excuse to have all the guys fall in love with her. I hate when authors do that. There's going to be someone who's not going to be attracted to you. So those are the books I read this month. What was your favorite book you read this month? I'd really love to know. And that's it for me. I hope you guys all have a really great day, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!